folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. This is Travis here at the Prepared Homestead. Well, we've had some pretty good weather the last few days out here, and that's been one of the struggles this year that we've had here in the Ozarks with growing, and I'm sure many of you that are Ozark listeners understand this, is that we've had a very wet spring, and even up until, last night. I saw on the news a weather report that the month of May, I believe, was the third wettest on record. It rained a lot. We've had to replant some things. We lost some tomato plants between them getting waterlogged and, hail damage and, that kind of stuff, a lot of storms. It's been a struggle to get it going, but it's all pretty much planted. Some things are doing good. Some things are just starting to break ground. Some things are really struggling because of the wet. And also, it took a while for it to really warm up. But it's finally warmed up. We did get almost 2 inches of rain last night. And they're calling for rain again tonight. But at least during the day, it's warming up and it's sunny. So it kind of helps balance it out a little bit. But I suspect that it'll finally kick in and the heat and the sun will overpower the wetness and things will start growing. But just a little update around here. Animals are doing great. This morning we banded some little goats, which for those of you that don't know, it's a way of castrating them. Bands around them so that they're no longer billy goats. So that was always a good experience, I guess. No, but the kids got to participate and learn, so that was good for them. But they're doing fine. The goats are just, I don't know. It was just something that we come across and got. They're probably going to be mostly used as weed control, because we're mostly wanting to raise sheep here on the property, but they're little pygmy goats, and I guess they'll probably end up being like pets. I had suggested, because they're young, I had suggested raising them up to put some meat in the freezer, but that didn't go over too well, and I think they're probably going to end up being pets around here, which I guess that's okay, because they do eat a lot of the weeds, and I just kind of tether them up around the property in the areas that there's a lot of weeds and just kind of let them have at it. But anyways, other than that, things are just kind of going around here. You know how that goes on a homestead. Seems like we mow one day and it's ready to mow the next day with all the rain and now the sun that we've been having. But it's going good. But that's not what I'm making a video about. Oh man, so all this protesting and riots, and it's mostly the riots, it's gotten crazy. I've lost track. We've been really busy here on the property for the last few days, and so I don't have the time to just sit in my phone or sit in a computer all the time. So when I pick up the news, I kind of update myself as much as possible, but man, with all the stuff going on, it's hard to really stay on top of it. So I would be, honestly, I don't know exactly how many cities all this chaos is happening in. The last I heard, it was a lot, and I guess one night it's bad here, the next night it's bad here. Looks like New York is having it really bad, and there's been several people killed, people run over, police officers shot, police officers stabbed. Tons and tons of looting, lots of thousands and thousands of people arrested, and it's crazy. And from what I'm getting online is you've got, of course, the left saying that it's right-wing extremists that are actually the ones instigating this. And then you have the right saying that the left-wing extremists are the ones instigating this. And I haven't taken a lot of time to really dig in. I'll admit, on the surface, it looks like a lot of these Antifa, hard left anarchist communists that are perpetuating this. But I have read some things that, sound like that there could be some right-wing extremists that are mingled in on it, trying to push it along. What I suspect, without having really any evidence, based on just how things go in this world, what I suspect, you've got the elites who really aren't on any side. There's this illusion that that there are elites that are left-leaning and that there are elites that are right-leaning. The reality is they don't care about that kind of stuff. They just care about domination, controlling you, controlling your thoughts, your body, what you do. They already own everything. They just want to control you. And so there's this creation of this illusion, this fictitious, left-right paradigm that's really just a bunch of malarkey when it comes down to it. And what I suspect is that the elites are funding and encouraging through their channels both left and right extremists to create chaos and havoc on the streets, and not just here in the United States. I guess they're starting to see this happening in other countries. And when I see that, it makes me think, I know a lot of people, probably some of my viewers even, think that this is just the Democrats trying to make things really bad so that the president doesn't get elected. I'll be honest with you, I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a couple of reasons, because what's happening is only going to encourage his base to vote for him again. And I don't see that, unless the president truly drops the ball on this, like if he's just, absolutely incompetent and does something really ridiculous, I don't see this as really hurting him when it comes to his reelection. So, and plus, it's also happening in other countries. So I really don't think that this is just about the November election. The same way that I don't think that the pandemic, the coronavirus, is just about the November election. People need to kind of see past political parties and elections and stuff. And again, those are illusions also. Those are just illusions to make you think that there's your side and their side, and that if your side gets elected, that you're in control and that you have a voice and all that. I know, I'm going off a bunch of little conspiracy rabbit trails, but it's just how I believe. So I don't think that that's necessarily the issue. I think, personally, my gut tells me that this is either a test or it's the beginning of creating chaos, total anarchy, chaos, to usher in a new era. Think about the communist revolution in pretty much every country that's has become communist now or in the past. It came to them through a revolution. They didn't just, wake up one day and say, oh, okay, everyone, we just want to be, communists. Let's vote on it. Okay, now it came through in violent revolution. And a lot of these people are very communistic in thinking, and I believe that's what the New World Order is going to be based on. Maybe not openly called communism, but based on that kind of idea that everyone's going to have to live, to make everyone equal, take from everyone, redistribution of wealth, so that, you don't have elites and you are wealthy and you don't have the poor, that everyone's equal and everyone has to live in more confined lives in urban areas, so that the wildlife and the environment can flourish outside of the big cities. It's a very communistic concepts, what the New World Order is. And so it's I think that's part of what to create this chaos and all these illusions of racial tension and lack of law and order and tension between the left and the right and all that kind of stuff. And if you look at it, that is right in the playbook of communism, if you do the research. And so I think that it's being kind of that playbook is being co-opted by the elites for the New World Order, and I think that's probably what we're seeing. And it's a shame for many reasons, but it's also a shame that I believe there are many people out there that are peacefully protesting, and they're doing it because inside their heart they truly believe and desire equality, and they desire to get violence off the streets, whether it's done on each other or from police onto them. There are people out there that truly desire that, and I think that it's a shame and it's sad that so many of those people, well, number one, it's maybe done in vain possibly, and they believe that what they're out there is actually might be effective, and then there's a lot of people that are real victims of this. A friend of ours, of my wife and I, she was telling us, and she is black, and her son was walking down the road. I don't know exactly where, but he was walking down the road, okay? And he's a little bit older, but he's still a kid. And I guess some white guys in a pickup truck come driving by and yelled some pretty offensive racial slurs at him. And they turned around and started to come back, and he took off running and had to hide under a bridge somewhere and everything. And I'm thinking, why is that happening still in our country? Why are we still at that point in humanity that there's still that level of hatred against someone, regardless of their color, their religion, their beliefs, especially to the level of instilling fear and violence into someone. And it's really sad. And so there's a lot of good people out there that they believe that they're doing something right, or they themselves are becoming victims of this violence. And it's sad, it really is. But the reality is, I think, that everything that we're seeing is all planned. Just like, everything that we've been seeing and that we're going to see again with this COVID-19, it's not done. They've just put it on a shelf to let this rioting happen, and they're going to pull that back off the shelf here soon, and it's going to be another big blow up this fall, I'm sure. It's going to be way worse, and they're going to say, see, you guys wanted all your freedom and stuff, and look what happened. Look what happened. You went out there and did your little First Amendment protest thing, and see what happened? Now everybody's getting the virus, and it's going to be worse. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And, they're using all this to just continually further their agenda. It's all right out of their little playbook. They've pre-planned everything. This kind of stuff doesn't just happen. It doesn't just spontaneously, it's an accident. It happens. These people, these ultra elites, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, men behind the curtain, they sit around and they think this stuff up, and they have the power and the money and the ability to make it happen. And they may plan ahead years and years and decades in advance. They did that with Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 and all that kind of stuff. It's all part of their plan, and we're seeing it happen. It's also been prophesied for. In the book of Revelation and in other books in the Bible, Isaiah and Daniel, we're seeing a lot of that stuff happen. And I'm not saying that we are absolutely, at the cusp of the end times, but I believe we're living in the end times. I don't know when it's all gonna finally come to its final blow. It could be tomorrow, it could be decades from now. But I believe that we are seeing that in our time. And so, all that and more, I've said in the last video I made on this, there's so much going on right now, I can't just put it all in one video. So I'm trying to make a few, talking about different things. And I think this one is it's just there's everything that's happening. everything. If you have not awakened and you're not, doing everything you can to get yourself prepared, man, I don't know what in the world it's going to take. If your neighbors and your family isn't, I don't know what it's going to take. Definitely one thing's for certain, all these riots is certainly backed up every argument people of the Second Amendment crowd has ever said. You don't need an AR-15 for hunting. No, but we need it when we got rioters in the street burning buildings down and trying to tear down my door. That's what we need it for. But we've got to start preparing ourselves more and more. Man, that's what we're doing here. It's like every day. We take one day off a week, on Shabbat. And other than that, it's just we gung-ho as much as we can, because we know that things are getting bad, and I don't think they're going to get any better for quite a while. So basically every day here we're just doing every little bit that we can to get more prepared, and that's what you've got to start doing. Go back and check some of my videos. I've got a lot of videos on like food, what to buy, skills, what skills to learn, tools to have, books to have. I've done a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of videos over the past year. So I guess I can remake some of those videos, but the ones that I made, some of them were really good. So go back in the channel and look those up. There's also other channels out there that put out great videos. So I'm not so competitive that I'm wouldn't recommend all those. But folks, it's like the handwriting is on the wall. The rain is pouring down, you're standing in the ark, and you're about ready to close the door. That's how I feel anymore about what's going on. And there's still those people that are out there laughing. There's still those people that are standing out there in the pouring rain, and they're saying, "You're crazy, old man. Why'd you build that big boat and put all them animals on it? You're crazy." And it's always going to be that way. And so you've got to just, focus yourself on taking care of yourself, your family, the ones that, your loved ones, and the ones that listen, and pool your resources if you can with family members, and try to make it work. And it's possible. I still believe it's survivable, because I've read the great book and I know the ending story. So I still believe that what we're going through, we can survive. If you just take care of yourself and fill your storehouses and your lamps full of oil and your storehouses full of grain, and your heart full of Him, we can get through this. So, but folks, it's getting dangerous out there and it's getting bad. So watch yourself, especially those of you that still live in more urban areas and suburban areas, because you just never know when it's going to start happening. All right, folks, stay safe out there, okay? Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.